that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either headed for the win or they hitting the goalposts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any kid he could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry, bury the trade, yeah, they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. My name is Chris Brown, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I got my guy Kenny with me. Kenny, how you living, brother?
I'm good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I can't complain. There's nothing better than watching NBA and college basketball.
Listen,
can't get no
man,
better, man.
the best
MLB
time of the
kicked
year.
off last night, too. Man, you know, it was over 23 total runs.
Wow.
You know, you love that with baseball. When you're a fan of baseball like me, where you're a casual fan, you like the highest scoring, you like all the big hits, you like all the runs, and you know, it's just a great time for sports, honestly.
100%. I mean, this is that time of year where, one, you got good weather, the spring, spring is here, baseball's kicking off, March Madness is kicking off. So it's just one of the best times of the year if you're a sports fan, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So before we get started, man, go ahead and let the people know some stuff you got going on.
Yes, sir. So we posted on social media on yesterday. It's official. ASAP will be in the building tomorrow night. All roads point to St. Joseph Academy, 155 State Road, 207 in St. Augustine, Florida. We got an alumni game. Matter of fact, I think they're in the gym right now. Hey, Chris, I told the alumni guys about it yesterday. I sent them a picture of Ray setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's in the gym tonight.
Oh yeah, everybody got getting the lab.
Everybody's in the gym
tonight, brother.
Yeah, everybody's in the gym tonight, getting shots up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's rolling, trying to make sure that they are straight to be able to play tomorrow night, because they know they don't want to be on. They don't want to become a meme. They don't want to go viral, because we are on everything. So it's hilarious. It's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, they don't want to become a meme, like you said. They want to go up and show out.
Yeah,
I don't blame them.
And it's all for a good cause, just to bring everybody together, and then also to raise some money for our JV program, which we'll be launching, and also for our summer activities. We'll be hitting the road, going to Georgia 14 camp, going down to West Palm Beach 14 camp. So,
West Palm.
That's down by your ain't too far from where your people are, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Right there, about 30. Nah, let me say not 30, about 40 minutes, but it's still right there.
Yes, sir.
Mike, I see in the comments applied for Otani's translator, man. Man, briefly, I'll say this, man. He took the fall. He took the fall for Otani. Listen, that's the rumors. That's the rumor mill. He was the fall guy.
I mean, it's a definite possibility.
But yeah,
you cannot rule it out. That is for sure.
It's just great to see, great to see people in the comments, man. But for me, I just dropped my Eagles podcast yesterday, briefly touching on free agency, the Saquon signing, the Devontae Parker signing, the Devin White signing, the players we had retired. I dived in everything, man. So definitely go take a look at that. If you sports W_Chris, you click a link in my bio. It's a link tree. Click on the Spotify link, Apple Podcast link, Google Podcast link. Either one would take it to you. But I'm ready to get started. You ready to get started?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's start off with March Madness. I can tell you this: everybody I know bracket is messed up.
That's why I didn't do it.
Yeah, everybody I know bracket is for sure messed up. So we had North Carolina with the dominant win over Wagner today. Michigan State over Mississippi. That's where a lot of people's bracket messed up. A lot of people was taking Mississippi State. Me personally, I'm not going against Tom Izzo. You had Dayton 24-4 run against Nevada to come back. They were down double digits, man, at half, going into the second half, midway second half, and they started fighting back. And they were able to come back and win that game by 3 points. You had a dominant victory by Arizona. Right now, you got Kentucky struggling against the zone. We was talking about that before we went live. They're struggling against the zone. So hopefully they could pick it up. BYU lost, and that's one of the upsets. 6 seed losing to 11 seed.
But that's in any time that you're filling out a bracket, that's almost got to be part of what you do, because we know that's why we call this time of year March Madness, because there's always going to be something that happens. That whole any given day, team can catch fire, team knock down shots, things go their way, and knock off the become upsets.
Yeah, BYU struggled that game. I was watching that game. Illinois, they were to be Morehead State, man. Illinois, to me, that's I don't want to say underdog, but that's a team, and I tell a lot of people, don't be surprised if if they make it all the way. At least I got them going to the Final Four for sure, and don't be surprised if they make it to that dance. I like Illinois, man. They got a lot of All-Americans. They got a guy in Terrence Shannon that's a true bucket.
Oh yeah,
Mike Hughes, you might know about him. Illinois, man, that dude's a problem. So that's my team. It's anybody, especially on that side, that could be UConn. I'm going with Illinois.
Well, if that's going to be tough though, because UConn has been, they've pretty much been
they've been the top team.
You know what I'm saying? And
been the top team.
Defending champs, battle tested, have already been through this last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take, you're going to have to bring everything to beat Danny Hurley and the UConn Huskies. That's for sure.
Oh, you definitely, you're not lying about that. But let me ask you this, we talking about March Madness, and I list some of the games, some of the upsets, a brief update. And we're going to be updating you guys all the way until the final, Elite Eight, Final Four. We give some predictions out for you. But do you think the women's tournament is going to be more exciting than the men's tournament this year?
I think it's a real possibility, because this probably is the first year where the women have more stars or more, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. More box office talent than the men. So it's a definite possibility. I think at the end of the day, the men have definitely been running things, but the women are on their heels for sure.
To me, you said it best. I do 100% believe the women have more star power than the men's in this tournament. And I'll say this, for the first couple of rounds, a lot of people will say the men's is going to be, more exciting because you have more upsets. You have more teams that a lot of people watch. But when you get to those Elite Eight, to the Final Four, and the stars are showing, that's when you're going to see the women's tournament is going to be better than the men's. You have Stanford. You have Iowa State. This for the women's. Iowa State. You have USC, LSU, South Carolina. I mean, the names, Iowa. So you have a lot of teams with a lot of star power. And this to me shows, or this to me is the determining factor who has the most star power in this tournament. Kenny, who do you think is going to be number one pick for the women's WNBA? Now, who's going to be number one pick for the NBA?
Oh, I don't know.
My point exactly.
No. That's a great point.
It's been a while since we were saying, man, who's going to be the number one pick for the NBA? And it's not like, it'd be times where you have a whole bunch of names. You can't even think of a name right now. You have a guy, I look at a lot of mock drafts, you have a guy in Cody Williams who comes off the bench, for Colorado. And this is no knock to him. And this is no knock to a guy like Rob Dillingham, who's a problem, but you see is not getting a lot of playing time. Or a guy like Reed Shepard, who had that big game against Tennessee, and his stock went up. He's another guy coming off the bench. And these guys are stars. Don't get me wrong. But what happened? I know we talked about that list to Carmelo Anthony. The Zion Williamsons, the Anthony Davises, your stars that are playing 30 plus minutes that are the consensus top picks. I look at a guy in Reeves for Kentucky that plays that much, but who knows where he is on mock drafts? And he's the guy that can get you 20 plus. He's hitting about 3 threes a game, but he's not that star. So when I look at what tournament is going to be more exciting, I have to go with the women's. And when I look at the NBA in this draft, that's a whole nother topic. But who knows who's going to be number one pick? It might not even be an American at this point.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility. But I think the one, excuse me, mistake that was made on the women's side is them putting South Carolina and Iowa in the same bracket. Like that, to me, is a mistake because you're gonna knock off, one of the superpowers, one of the the must see TVs. So that potential matchup in the Elite Eight could be that could be a championship game preview. So I think that was a mistake on the NCAA part.
I'm with you. But would you say it's a mistake, or do you think it was strategic?
Honestly, I think it was a mistake because you want that matchup to happen in the Final Four on the largest stage that you have in terms of not only with the viewership but with excuse me, with the actual facility or the arena. You guys are going into that's where you're having your most fans at the game, so you want to have the most eyes as possible. From a business perspective, between the viewers, between the people in the building. So having that matchup should have happened in the Final Four as opposed to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, it's I'm with you on that. The best bet would have, to me, the top 4 teams or the 4 star power teams to be Final Four. So to me,
right.
when I look at it as far as star power, I go South Carolina, I go Iowa, I go LSU, and I go USC because I think Juju Watkins.
Sure.
I think Juju Watkins is that good.
Yes.
And I look at teams like Stanford, and I look at teams, number 1 ranked team like Texas. And they're NC State. I mean, there's some good teams, but as far as star power, I mean, I like USC. I mean, they have a tough road. USC, they have a high Ohio State, who's the number 2 seed. They have UConn, number 3 seed. You got Baylor, number 5 seed. I mean, it's going to be must watch, and I'm going to be tuned in. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. I can't wait to see. But to the original point, then we both can agree. Well, I know I'm standing on it. More exciting than immense. Number 1 seed last week, and they were number 2 seed last 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, when you conference championship win, I think that helped a lot.
Yeah,
honestly, I think that helped a lot.
And we know that in terms of when it comes to the seeding, they wait until
after
those conference tournaments to make their final determination. So that's a definite factor.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the committee will put number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, the committee messed up on both sides. I think in their mind they had a strategic way of doing it, and a lot of people is complaining. I mean, yeah, they're the number 1 overall team, but each region has their number one seed, and I still think South Carolina's the team to beat. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I just think that we got to start really talking about, and I'm sure some people have, but I think the conversation just needs to be had more in terms of Dawn Staley being an all-time great coach.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know you as a Philly guy. I know you're all for that.
Oh, room for her all day, every day, all day, every day. She's a GOAT. She's definitely a GOAT. Well, enough about college. We love college. We're gonna come back to college, but let's talk about the NBA. I texted the chat last night. I said, man, this Celtics Bucks game, we gonna have to talk about it. And It was at one point in time I thought it was going to be a blowout. No Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's battling, hamstring. He's playing tonight, but he had a hamstring problem. And I saw the league get up to 20, 15. I'm saying, okay, Boston's going to do what they have to do. Well, Milwaukee was able to come back, made it a tough game. They ended up losing by 3, 122 to 119. You had 32 from Dame, 31 from Tatum, 21 from Brown, 23 from White, hitting big shots, 4 for 11 from the three-point line. When you watch this game, I can't forget about Chris Middleton, 22.6 rebounds, 6 assists. But when you watch this game, what was your biggest takeaway as far as the Boston Celtics?
Honestly, I didn't really watch this game. But for me, my thought has always been, when it comes to the Celtics, that it all hinges on that. To me, the X factor is KP. It's all about Porzingis. If he's on the court, they're pretty much unguardable.
I agree.
But if he's compromised in any way, if he's not, playing, if he's not healthy, then I think that's going to be the difference, because that's what they, the moves that they made. For me, the biggest move that they made was getting Porzingis, because it just basically makes them, and we talked about this before, is that you got 5 guys that you cannot leave. When they're all 4 of them, all 5, 5 of them are on the court, it's like you got to pick your poison, because you got shot makers at every position. So that's what makes them so difficult to guard. And so if he's not there, because we know Al Horford, Grizzly veteran, been around the league forever, but
he gonna shoot that corner 3, dog.
Right.
Al gonna shoot that corner 3.
Right, but you never know when Father Time is going to catch.
Absolutely,
it's going to affect his game, because it's going to affect everybody's game. I don't care who you are. So that's the only other part, is that if KP is not out there, you got to rely on Horford playing extended minutes, then they're not the same team.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When I look at last night, yes, Porzingis was 0 for 5 from 3, but it's the fact that he still had 17 points and he's taking those threes. When I look at the Celtics history with Tatum and Brown, they never really had a dynamic big that can score. All their bigs were guys that you need to create their shots. Robert Williams, he's a lob threat. Al Horford, he's not putting on the ground no more. He's not getting the post-ups. He's taking an open 3, the pick and roll, catch and shoot type of guy. So I'm with you on Kristaps Porzingis is that X factor. And if he's able to stay healthy, he's able to knock. He's rarely going to go for 5 from the 3-point line.
Right.
That's rare. He's shooting it, at a decent clip this year, and he's putting them up. So I'm with you, even with no Drew Holiday, but with Drew Holiday on the team, and then the unsung hero and Peyton Pritchard. He's a guy that it's all about matchups for him. And as long as the team doesn't have, a big dominant guard that he has to go against with that second unit, he can thrive. He was 5 for 8 from the 3-point line, 19 points, hit about 3-4 threes back to back to back to back. And when I look at the Celtics, to me, their big quote unquote question mark is the bench. But when you have Peyton Pritchard doing what he's doing, a guy like Sam Hauser is there to shoot the ball. Xavier Tillman, to me, he's going to be a guy that's going to see. He's going to be, most of his minutes to me are going to be in the playoffs. I think that was a playoff pickup, a guy that if Al Horford's struggling, he's the guy that can come in and be that backup big off the bench. So when I look at it, the Celtics, I think they're all right. Let me ask you this, though, for the Milwaukee Bucks. No Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it feels like Dame's at his best when Giannis isn't playing. How do you like that duo so far? Because I'm up in the air with it. I'm not going to lie to you. I know that they're 44 and 25. But I'm up in the air with those two.
I think it's a to be determined. When you have 2 guys like this that come together, it takes time to build chemistry.
Absolutely.
And the issues that they're having is that they're not able to build that chemistry because they're not able always to be on the court together. So we saw this happen with the Nets. Is we never got to see the full potential of that lineup because the 3 of them couldn't all stay healthy at the same time. So I just think that this is going to be tough because not only do you got to figure out the chemistry between those 2, then you got Doc Rivers coming in the middle of the season. Like there's just so many moving parts that I just don't know how in terms of expectations, I honestly don't really have high expectations for the Milwaukee Bucks going into these playoffs because of
Mm.
all of the turmoil.
And I that's funny because I'm still on the standpoint. If the Knicks are able to get healthy, which is kind of hard because we're about to get in the playoffs. And I know George Randall was just on a podcast with Josh Hart and Julian Brunson, so I got to go tune into that to see
Oh, I
update.
didn't even know about that. I
Yeah,
definitely got
yeah,
to tune into
yeah.
that.
I got to see the updates on his injury because it's getting real close to the playoffs. But I was in a belief if that team was healthy, they're better than the Bucks. So, and I'm with you. When I watch the Bucks and I watch Giannis and Dame, their 2-man game does remind me, of dominant 2-man games like Harden and Embiid, of LeBron and Anthony Davis, of Jamal Murray and Jokic. And maybe that's the fact of how Giannis plays. Maybe Giannis has to be sometimes the second fiddle and let Dame do his thing. Because I remember watching it, I was watching the Lakers game vividly and watching them trap Dame on a pick and roll up top. They love that high pick and roll and they're
Mhm.
trapping Dame. And then Giannis has to make a play. I think Giannis, he's averaging a career high in assists. I think he might have to take it up a notch. He might have to be flirting with a triple double in the playoffs and really let Dame do his thing because that's why Dame is there. If Dame's not
Mhm.
able to be comfortable, which I mean, he could shoot any shot he wants. I don't know if you saw the highlights out. Feel free to drop them in the chat. But this man was taking step back threes, side step threes on Tatum, on Brown, and knocking them in with the quickness. So he can
Oh
score with the best of them.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I still think, if I'm Doc, you want him to be your number one option in the playoffs. And when I
yeah.
look at Chris
Mhm.
Middleton, who's been battling the injury, we forget about him. He's been in and out the lineup, and he was on a minute restriction for most of the year. So these past couple of games, he's been playing fine, but you need those three guys to play together. So I love that reference, honestly, with that Brooklyn reference because those guys barely played, and it was a big what if. So if those guys can't develop chemistry, I mean, right now, currently standing, things are bound to change. But if I look at the standings, they're the second seed and they're going up against Miami. And we know that
Mhm.
matchup with
Mhm.
Milwaukee and Miami.
Mhm.
It's hit or miss. And Miami's
Mhm.
not at full strength either. Tyler Hero hasn't played in forever. But that's a matchup I don't think Milwaukee wants to see. And I'll say this. It's reports that Embiid may be coming back. Now, me personally, I'm cool with Embiid unless he can tell me he's 150% and he
Which he won't be.
which he won't be. Don't play because honestly, but Embiid with this team, I do like that. However, if he's not 150%, then don't risk it. But still, those two teams, Milwaukee's in for a rude awakening if Doc Rivers doesn't get this team together. Tonight they play Brooklyn. They need to roll. They need to steamroll Brooklyn, in my opinion.
Yeah, oh
No
yeah,
no
yeah.
Middleton
Don't play
doesn't
around.
matter. Don't
Yeah,
play around with your food
yeah,
because
there you go.
yeah,
They're 1, 2, 3 Cancun. So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
But yeah, man, that was a good game. Some people may say it's the Eastern Conference finals preview. I know you would want something different.
For sure.
But let's move on. Let's talk about, you brought this up. So I'm gonna ask you this. Draymond. We saw the scuffle last night with Bane and Ultima. Shout out to Draymond though. He had a phenomenal game. I think he had like 10, 11, and 7. But will Draymond make it through the rest of the season and postseason without getting suspended?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he will.
Mm,
Because at his core, he's an emotional player.
mm-hmm.
You don't change that. You don't turn that off after being in the league for over 15 years. Like he is who he is.
Yeah.
So and teams are now starting to. It's almost like they're they're trying to trigger him because they
Mhm.
know that he's the key. He's one of the key players on that team, and that team it doesn't run the same without Draymond in the lineup. So
No, it doesn't.
so I'm I just honestly I don't see how he's going to, and after doing this playing this way for 15 years, now all of a sudden he's just gonna become a robot and just turn off his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going down to crunch time, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. They're fighting for seeding in the loaded West. He's got to bring it every night. He's got to bring the energy. He's got to bring the intensity. He's got to bring the passion. So I just don't see how he could turn it off. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but I honestly think that it's going to wind up costing him a game.
I'll say this as a guy that was very passionate when I played. His teammates also have to have some type of accountability. Yes, Draymond has to have accountability, but if you know your teammate, regardless of how he feels, I remember watching Spencer Dinwiddie. He was I forgot what teammate was trying to pull him away because he wanted to talk to the ref. Nothing happened, but at the end of the day, if I see my teammate going back and forth with the ref, knowing the stakes, I don't care how you feel. I'm grabbing you and I'm pulling you out the way. Say, bro, you talking for no reason. A lot of these players like to talk to the ref, and nothing changed. They just want to get stuff off their chest. But if I'm a guy like Klay Thompson, if I'm a guy even like Wiggins, and no matter of fact, it doesn't matter because all that team they were together and they won a championship together. Maybe they're not Klay and Steph, but they all won a championship together. Especially Chris Paul. You weren't on that team, but you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be this guy that has it all figured out up here. You're supposed to know. Yeah, I'm saying you're supposed to know the right things to do. And so in that case, yes, Draymond's going to be who Draymond is. He's going to wear emotions on his sleeve. He's going to be reckless. He's going to have things that happen like last night. But regardless, he cannot allow his emotions to get the best of him to the point where he gets suspended in a game. Because I'll say this, when I look at the seedings again, and things are bound to change, they're in the 10th seed. Houston is on a 6-game winning streak without Sengun. So if Draymond
That's so impressive.
and shout out to Jalen Green for finally being who everybody thought he could be. If you watched Jalen Green in high school and you watched him with Ignite and you saw glimpses of his first couple of years, I saved that for another day because I can go on and on.
We definitely got it.
On how I feel
about
we got
to touch on that on Monday.
But I'm proud of what he's doing. But they're on a 6-game winning streak. 8-2 in their last 10. I'm looking at the Warriors. They're 5-5 in their last 10. What if Draymond gets suspended for a game?
So I'm saying
while the Rockets are on. So I'm with you. It can cost them. So it's on Draymond, but I think his teammates and the coaching staff, they have to be held accountable. So if you know the type player that you have, how do you allow him to continuously do the things? If all these guys are supposed to be leaders, they're supposed to be teammates, they're supposed to be brothers. How do you allow your brother to detriment something that's going to hurt the team? So I'm always with you on the player has to be held accountable with Draymond, but I feel like the coaching staff and especially these players, his teammates, they have to be somewhat accountable too. You should not allow him to go out and do those things. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen because, like I said, he's been playing well. Kuminga's been playing well. This team, I mean, not that I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. If I'm being honest, I don't think them or the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. But if they want to have a chance, Draymond cannot get suspended. I think it's not going to happen. I don't think he's going to get suspended the game. I think the refs are giving him more leeway. I think he knows that. I think he's still pushing the buttons. But Damian, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't. It might not work out. He might not want that.
Listen, we all know. And shout out to Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
Hold me back.
Hold me back. Well, Draymond's not a hold me back type of guy, but he's not a UFC type of guy either.
What Draymond been doing is he is the king of the sneak attack. I'm just saying.
We can table that discussion.
Yeah.
We can.
But no, I want to say we could table it. But I did want to chime in on what you were saying about the teammates and the coaches holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do, but then everybody has to be on the same page.
Okay.
Because we had this situation happen with our team a couple seasons before last,
mm-hmm.
and while everybody has to do it. There's still going to be because it's emotions. So as much as you try, there's going to be moments where if everybody's not on the same page, if everybody's not speaking the same language, then it's going to go left. And that's my concern.
You don't want it to go left at all.
And then these are grown men. I'm talking about high school guys. These are grown men. Everybody got families that got their own money.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it even harder. So that's why I say I don't know how they're going to be able to to keep that in check. It's going to take a full team effort. Everybody from the front office all the way down. Everybody's got to be on the same page, and everybody's got to be again speaking the same language. Else it's not going to work.
Uh, I'm we gonna see, man. Hopefully nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
But
I hope I'm wrong because
yeah.
we got an opportunity to really down the stretch
Mm-hmm.
have some meaningful and you know what I'm saying, playoff determining basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you want after, a long NBA season because it's a long NBA season.
Yes, it is.
Coming down the stretch, you don't want to see no load management games. You want to see games that count where guys is going hard and guys is something on the line because that's when you
Mm-hmm.
see the best type of basketball.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I said what I said. I don't think they can make the playoffs, but you honestly never know. I mean, with guy like Curry, who went, I don't know. I seen Le'Veon drop somebody, so in a fight where they both had their hands up. So I might not be the best. I might have to go with Le'Veon from what I saw, but I mean, like, yeah, the Warriors, Draymond, 7 through 10. I mean, they're all the same type teams. Even Sacramento, they all could beat each other. Draymond's going to be crucial, so you don't want him to mess your run up. But speaking of a team that's currently number 5, who I think can finish number 4, their star player is Zion Williamson. I know we mentioned him a little bit last episode when I've been quietly dropping breadcrumbs the past couple of weeks. Um, like I said last week, they're a team that's been from 4 through 6 all throughout the year, been consistent, and Zion, he's been doing his thing this year. Why do you think it's been, under the radar? And real quick, they're down 9, but Paolo Banchero, he's about to have a triple double. Just wanted to put that out there. He about to drop a
Special.
triple double, man. But
Special.
yeah, why do you think this team's been really like swept under the radar all year? Nobody's been talking about him, and especially Zion, the year he's having.
Yeah, I think everybody's been holding their breath, hoping that he's going to make it through the year healthy because that
Hmm.
hasn't been who he's been as a player throughout his career. So I just think that's what it's been is that everybody's kind of been watching and just, I don't know, maybe they don't want to jinx him
Hmm.
or what. But to your point, though, they've been flying under the radar and just been quietly been a quality team all year. And I think the biggest thing for me in terms of the Pelicans, it's not Zion. To me, it's Brandon Ingram.
Mm.
I think he's coming into his own to where he's becoming one of those unguardable guys, and we're starting to see him just get to his spots and rise up, and there's nothing that you could do because of that length that he has. Because that was what everybody thought that he was going to be coming out of college. The comparisons to KD, the
Hmm.
same frame, the same length, same type of game. So we're starting to really see him become one of those unstoppable guys. So I think that's really the key to them. What if they're going to make a playoff run? Now he's got to be that number one guy. And I think Zion has to be number 2, and then you got CJ as number 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. When I look at Zion, it's like we seen. I remember his first game against the Spurs ever in the league, and he came in and he just what is this? What he was shooting threes too, which we haven't seen him do since. But I mean, you saw what he could be his rookie year. We saw him get hurt. We saw him coming back, make the All-Star game. We saw him get hurt. So we seen this cycle of dominant play then injury, dominant play then injury, dominant play and injury. So when we're watching dominant play now, it's like, okay, can you keep this level of dominance? This year they're actually going to be a playoff team, not a play-in, but a playoff team. And he lost 25 pounds. It's noticeable on the court.
Yes, you can see it
Um,
in his body as well.
exactly. If he's able to stay healthy and he's able to do what he's doing in the play, if he's able to stay healthy throughout the playoffs, you know, even if he's giving you about 18 to 20, but if he's able to be dominant like this in the playoffs, and he has the Clippers number, and that's who it looked like they're going to match up if everything ends right now, and if they're going how they're going. If he's able to obtain this level of dominance, he's going to go back into that all-star, all-NBA type questions, because if you're looking at it, it's not a lot of guys who will really take over a healthy Zion, because he's not dribbling. He's quick to his point, quick to his point, quick to his
Hmm.
point, and he's
And
getting the
it's just
buckets.
so explosive.
So explosive. And then I see him now taking initiative on defense. I saw him trying to guard a Kawhi. When he faced the Clippers, I see him trying to guard teams' best perimeter guys. He's not afraid to bang down low. So I think this is a maturing Zion, and good luck.
You got that right.
Good luck.
Because there's a lot of business decisions that are going to be made when you see him coming downhill full speed.
Absolutely, absolutely. But last NBA topic, and you brought this up: load management in the NBA. How do you feel about that? It's been a subject for I think about a decade now, but maybe over the past 6 years, it's been a subject that's been just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we're at the point now where everybody feels like everybody's in load management. So how do you feel about that in NBA currently?
Uh, uh, it's enough of an issue that they made rules for it. So that tells you everything that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other part of it now is that because we're in this gambling age
Mm-hmm.
of sports, is that now that's even making it more of a factor to now guys are going to feel that much, or the league is feeling pressure to pressure these guys to play more, because they're in partnership in terms, with these gambling entities.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's a problem, it's an issue, and I don't think it's ever going to go away because now the milk is out of the bottle and you ain't no putting it back in the bottle. And in fact, players are going to take their time off because
Mm-hmm.
the other part is that 82 games is a long time to be running and jumping.
Absolutely.
So it's if I'm going to get an opportunity to be able to have less wear and tear on my body and still have my money, and I'm still got my guaranteed money, you
I'm
better
gonna do that.
believe I'm going to take them days off because I sure do. I take my PTO. I know that's for sure. So if they got the opportunity to take that PTO, that's what they're going to do. So while they put the rules in, it's on that those rules only affect the upper tier.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm all, I mean, I'm not. If I'm not all NBA, if I'm not first, second team, all star, or anything of that nature, where it's going to impact me financially, what incentive do I have to really push it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you look at it and then they implemented the 65 game rule, right? So you see guys like Donovan Mitchell, who in my opinion was easily going to be second team all NBA. He cannot qualify. And then you saw Tyrese Halliburton, who, this is definitely another subject for another day, but you saw him trying to play on that injury and he hasn't been the same since honestly that All-Star break. You see a guy like Joel Embiid, who they said he was ducking Jokic, even though this man's been having knee problems for who knows how long, and his knee was honestly messed up. But the media, everybody's pushing for him to play. He gets hurt against Golden State, and he gets hurt again, I think, against the Pacers. So I think load management, when I look at it, I think it's somewhat necessary now. But I think sometimes it gets to a point where it may be too much, where fans don't know the difference. You know, so
That's yeah, and that's the
it,
thing.
it depends on the situations too. Because you look at Kawhi as well, like. And these guys want to play basketball. That's my last point. These guys, especially the top tier guys, because when it comes to load management, people really only care about the superstars. The all guys that are bringing in the money, and then all these guys definitely want to play. So it's not like they're sitting out for no reason.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's one of those things to where when you're a competitor, you're going to look for opportunities to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in it for the love of the game, and or if you're in it for the money, then it's going to show.
Absolutely. I see. I can't agree with that. Because again, you mean to tell me how dominant Joel Embiid was playing this year? He was on his way to another MVP. He was leading the league in scoring. He was going to run away with the scoring title. You mean to tell me he didn't want to play? You thought he was just sitting out for no reason? You think Kawhi? How I think people forget that 2021 run Kawhi had in the playoffs where he was averaging 30 points on 50, 40, 90, and he tore his meniscus. And after that, how many games he had to miss? You think these guys don't want to play? You're talking about Hall of Fame caliber guys that are in their prime, dominating. They're not sitting out for no reason, you know? Now, when you get to 34, 32, 33 plus, you might have to miss a game or two. It's understandable. Because, like you said, 82 games is a long time. But these guys aren't just sitting out for no reason. Now, Jimmy Butler, I don't know. I need to look at Jimmy Butler injuries history because he was out for a minute. Now he's come back doing his thing. But outside Jimmy Butler, and there's no shot at Jimmy. I forgot what injury he even had because he was just hurt in the beginning of the year. Felt like he missed like 20 plus games. But like he said, he only cares about the playoffs. So
And that's the other part is that you want to, as an organization or as a franchise, you want to be basically peaking and as healthy as possible going into the playoffs.
mm-hmm.
So you're going to take measures and you're going to do things, necessary to kind of ensure that you have the best version of your team going into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So it's catch-22 for sure.
Now, before we move on to our next topic, we have an ad for you guys. Kenny, go ahead, roll the clip, man. Now go ahead and tell them where they can get those delicious treats because every time I tell you, I've been trying to stay away from sweets, my brother, but those look too good.
Absolutely. You can on Instagram or Facebook, Nellie's Joyful Treats. You can place your orders. You can DM. You can email and place your orders. And listen, businesses, brands, you're looking to advertise and promote your brand, holla at us. We got these spots available. We can throw you at
Absolutely.
the top. We could throw you mid-show. Or we could throw you at the end. So get at us. Go contact us. Go contact ASAP or contact us directly. And we'll get your spot in here so you can promote your business and you can promote your brand, promote your services.
Absolutely. Like you said, man, hit us up personally, hit up ASAP, but just contact us, man. Like you said, we roll the beginning, roll the middle, roll the end. We don't compromise. It's going to be a win-win situation for everybody.
That's right.
Now,
Everybody eats, B.
everybody eats. Now, speaking of a situation where it might not be win-win for everybody, and I'm just gonna say the name, and I'm gonna roll you the floor. These are tough times being on that diet. Yeah, man, I can't relate, brother. But Tad Prescott, floor is yours.
Oh,
Floor is yours. That's all I'm gonna say. Tad Prescott and floor is yours.
man. Tad, let me help you. And this is talking, and I'm talking from experience. You are a family member, you are a family of a professional athlete. I'm family of a former professional athlete and a current professional athlete. You do not want to speak in the manner that you're speaking and talking down against other guys that do something that you cannot do. Like there's levels to it. The fact that you're basically talking down about a guy that's had more success than your brother, it's making you sound crazy. It's making you sound like that you're a blind loyalist. Like you don't understand football. And all you're just doing is just caping up for your brother. So you gotta like whatever, I don't know who's advising you. I don't know if you're even talking to your brother, because I can imagine if your brother is talking to you, I'm sure he is letting you have it behind the scenes, like, dude,
what are you
calm
doing?
down. Because right now you just on a rampage and now you got your 15 seconds of fame, but at what cost? Because what you're doing is not benefiting the person that you love the most, which is your brother. You're not helping him, you're hurting him. So you're going to have to fall back, my guy. You got to fall back. You got to chill out. You got to Get rid of the Twitter fingers. Stop making these appearances and talking down, talking bad, and talking down about other quarterbacks, and especially other African American quarterbacks. Come on, you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, I mean, they call somebody a running quarterback when he's had the success he had passing the ball is hilarious. To call anybody a running quarterback in today's game is hilarious because you have to throw the ball to be successful.
And you have to make
And
plays with your feet.
and when you look at this top 10 list, Patrick Mahomes, yes. Dak Prescott, no comment. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Tua, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Flacco. You got Joe Flacco 10. I'll say this about Joe Flacco.
That's
Great, great,
losing.
great
That losing credibility right
great
there.
5 games. But to call him a current NFL quarterback and he might not even start next year, again, great 5 games. Great 5 games. But to not have a guy like CJ Stroud on that list is disrespectful. Flat out disrespectful. Is it because he's the better quarterback in Texas? I agree. And I think that's probably why he salty. But I'm with you. You're doing nothing but hurting, the person you quote unquote love the most. You're doing nothing but making his life harder. Because it's a difference if you're having positive publicity. But how does this help him out? You could have said, I could have think he's great. And in my eyes, he's the best. Nobody will ever be mad at you for saying your eyes.
Right,
You think your
supporting
family
your
member is
brother.
the best.
Nobody, right.
But to bring somebody else down, that's unnecessary. And that's the disconnect. If he would have said this list without bringing anybody down, well, I feel like he's second behind. I don't think people would be as mad at all. But the fact that you're bringing people down, that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the issue that he's hearing behind the scenes. Because again, if he would have said, I think my brother's second, I think he's the best in the game, nobody cares. As you should.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that this is picking up traction is because you want to disrespect the guy that's in the same division. You could have just said, I feel like he's better. But you didn't have to call him a running quarterback. And he's not a running quarterback. And he is the best quarterback in the division. We're going to prove it this year to you, buddy.
And he's won more. He's had more playoff success than
Dak
Dak
has.
can. Exactly. So, you got to stop, man. You sound crazy. You just sound sound totally out of control and just sound emotional because it's just not rational what you're saying. And
Not at
to
all.
say, but put Joe Flacco in your top 10 when this guy was barely, he was almost out the league.
No, he was out the league. Why is
Yeah.
not even on the list? What has he done? Are you talking about golf? I mean, still, but I wouldn't even be mad at you putting golf on the list because golf had a
Solid.
good year. He had a solid year. He was top 5 in yards
right,
per game. I
right.
mean, he won his division. He had a solid year. And yes, like I said, Joe Flacco in them 5 games, he averaged 323 passing yards. But again, 5 games.
5 games does not make a season.
Thank you. 5 games did not make a season. Kirk Cousins put up numbers in 8 games, but CJ Stroud put up numbers this year, and we're not even going to get into the debate of a top 10 list. But I just find it disrespectful that you don't have a guy like CJ Stroud on that list, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the list, like I said, the list loses credibility when you take somebody that was on the street halfway through the season and now say he's a top 10 quarterback after 5 good games. Come on, man.
But let's stick with football. Let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. skipping his pro day. Is this a big deal, or are people overreacting, or are they not reacting enough?
For me, it's not a big deal at all
Mm-hmm.
because pro day is just basically a glorified workout. If you don't know by now what you've seen on film,
then what do you know?
Right. A pro day is not going to tell you anything out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
You should have seen everything that you need to see on film or in person to let you know that he is the top receiver on the board. The pro day is not going to change your opinion one way or the other. So it's no big deal for me at all.
I'm with you. You basically said everything I have. I have. If you don't know what you're capable of with the pads on, what do you know? When I look at a pro day and a combine, it's for guys that you want to see how they test.
Right.
Testing it can make a
Measurables.
difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's overlooked, but you want to see or it's for guys that maybe didn't have a good combine or were banged up at the combine. You give them a chance to show what they could do. But I look at a quarterback like Zach Wilson. Everybody loved this one throw. I mean, when I look at I can name 20 quarterbacks in the league that can make that one throw, and I feel like he was drafted off that one throw alone. So a pro day can definitely up your draft stock, but I think we all know that he's a 1A receiver in this draft. He's number one for sure. Going to be the first receiver taken. There's nothing that he would have did in that pro day, you know, that would have told you anything different. So to me, he's not a big deal. But let me ask you this: you think the media would have made a big deal if Caleb Williams skipped this pro day? Because I think if this was Caleb Williams, I think people would be losing their mind. And again, for what? Because we saw a guy like Zach Wilson make an incredible throw, and look what he turned out to be. He by all means he's not lived up to his draft stock, his draft pick.
Oh, without
So
question.
you can't judge a pro day, and this for fans too. When you're looking at pro days and who your team's going to draft, don't look into it too much. Outside of is he going to run? Oh, he ran a 4.2. We love that, but other than that, man, that's not going to be able to tell you anything different.
Absolutely. It's again, it's one of those things where you got those workout warriors.
Hmm.
Everybody looks great in shorts and a t-shirt running against air.
Yeah, you ain't lying about
We
that.
can all look like all pros if that's the case. But
You
it's
ain't lying
when
about that.
when the lights are on and when it's 11 guys on the field. That's
Hmm.
when you see who got what guys really have. Because and this is this goes throughout all of the sports. Because sometimes we get too caught up in these workouts, and we let these workouts overshadow what we seen on the field and on the court.
Hmm.
Like that's what the most important. That's you can't the college day, pro days, workout, open workouts, combines, all that stuff. It's supposed to help your decision, but it shouldn't shape your decision.
Absolutely. And Damien, I mean, I know you want it all for your Bears, but uh, I, I mean, you can honestly get a receiver at 9. If depending on what you have to give up, but you can get the receiver from Washington and the receiver from LSU. I think they're all going to be there. So you might not be able to get Marvin Harrison, but you're going to get definitely a very
Yeah.
good receiver.
Well, you will have, but are you really? Is that the way that you would go? Because
Oh
you
no, I
already
want
got
I want
Keenan
to go
Allen,
there.
right? You already got Keenan Allen and DJ Moore.
Let
Is
me
that
look.
necessarily the way to go?
No, I want to go that way, but if he wants a receiver that bad, there was a point in time. I mean, let's say this though, right? We looked at the Bengals when they had Joe Burrow, and we thought they were going to draft Penei Sewell, and they went and they added more. They added Jamar Chase, and you know what Jamar Chase is.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we can say, is that really needed? Because a lot of people are thinking, okay, we're going to get offensive line, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But I saw the team of Bengals get Jamar Chase, and they almost won a Super Bowl. And so if I'm the Bears, I don't rule out a possibility to go get a Marvin Harrison Jr. Because when I look at the receiver core, I mean, you have Keenan Allen, you have Moore, but then those are your top 2 guys. So if
right.
you're able to get a Marvin Harrison, go do it. You
Yeah,
know, because I
but
like Tevin Jenkins. Darnell Wright, young guy. He's on a big tackle, right tackle. So I mean, if you're not going offensive line, I look at his defensive line. I love it. You added Kevin Byard, so either going to stay healthy. I mean, Keenan Allen's been relatively healthy. DJ Moore, that's up in the air. But like I said, I'm not mad at you for wanting to go get a receiver because I saw the Bengals go do the same thing and they almost won the Super Bowl.
yeah, if it's me, I'm going offensive line
Hmm.
because that has been a weakness of their team, and it's still an area that they can make a strength
Hmm.
through the draft. So I think that's where I would go after all of the work that you've done. To
Hmm.
not have a solid offensive line would almost be criminal.
Yeah, you're right about that. You don't want to have you you don't you do not want to have Caleb Williams struggling.
Right.
You want to
He
make life
already got
easier for him.
enough. Yeah, he already has enough pressure on him as it is. If that's who you're
Too
going to
too
draft.
much pressure, maybe. But let me ask you this about Caleb before we move on. How much pressure do you think he has to come in and be a guy that can compete to win this division? Because when I look at this division, and we saw how it was last year, and we saw how they played good towards the end of the year. But I mean, you have Detroit, who Detroit was who they were last year. Green Bay, who picked it up. Um, those two teams are going to be fighting. We're not going to expect anything from Minnesota, but you'd have two proven teams that won playoff games, and one team that was in the NFC Championship. So, do you think it's big pressure on him to come in and really compete to win this division? Like, how do you think the expectations is for Caleb Williams and the Bears going for next year?
Well, they're definitely going to be high expectations
Hmm.
because of what you did. You got rid of a starting quarterback and with the to bring him in, and already the generational talent label has been placed on him.
Hmm.
So you can't bring him in and make these deals. You have two number one receivers, as well as a solid tight end, and a starting caliber running back.
Hmm.
There's expectations, so he's not going to be able to avoid that. So he's going to have to come in here, and he's going to have to be the missing piece, because that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
He's the missing piece because you put all this talent around him. So he has to come in and he has to produce. Now, will he be the favorites in the division? I still think that Detroit has something to say about that.
absolutely.
But they will definitely, they should be contenders, and that should make it'll be that three-headed race between them, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this division, but sticking with the NFC, this is a division that it sucks. It's trash, but it might have a bright spot this year. NFC South. In your opinion, who's the favorite to win this division?
Man, it's so bad. It is so bad. Like I have never.
Oh, Damien, you don't know what you want. Stop.
Yeah, you all over the
You don't
place.
know what you want.
Yeah, you're all over the place. But it's okay. Oh, you got the Bucks. I guess I would. I don't have confidence. I know it's not the Panthers.
Oh yeah, we know that. We know that. We know
That's the
that.
only one I can rule out right now. Other than that, I'm ruling out Atlanta too. Uh,
Oh, oh.
so yeah, it's a toss up for me between the Bucks and New Orleans, and I'm gonna go with because the I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I'm with you, Damien.
Mm.
I'm going with Tampa Bay. I think they have some continuity now. Bringing back Baker, bringing back Mike Evans. So because they have that continuity, because they have that chemistry, I think Baker now feels settled down. He feels like he's in a place that wants him and is committed to him. So I think we see Baker continue to elevate. I think we see them continue to elevate. And yeah, I'm gonna pick the Bucks as the team to beat.
Not mad at y'all. Not mad at y'all. I'm personally going with the Falcons. I looked at the Falcons having the top 10 overall defense last year. Yes, they lost a few pieces, but their core is still intact. We all looked at, well, me
Hey,
personally, I looked at this
no,
team.
hold
What
up,
happened?
Chris.
What happened?
This Kentucky game, this dude just put a move on and just got hung on the rim on an uncontested dunk.
Who
Kentucky is
on
constructed
Kentucky?
shaky. They down three in the second half.
Oh yeah, let me pull it back up. Let me pull it back
Yeah,
up.
go
But
ahead, man. Continue. I just
yeah, no, the refresh on the computer. But honestly though, when I look at the Falcons, when I looked at them last year, I said, man, the quarterback on this team that they're making the playoffs, they're running through this division. Like I said, they lost some pieces this year, but Drake London's a stud. Um, Kyle Pitts, when getting the opportunity, is a playmaker. You have a dual running backs that both can get you 1,000 yards. and you have a veteran quarterback. Yes, he hasn't won the big games. We can say that. But I like Kirk Cousins over the quarterbacks that they had in the past. I'll tell you that. I think he
Mhm.
definitely could be a difference for this team and then moving forward. And when I look at the division, it's weak, flat out. It's a weak division. It's up for grabs. But I think it's honestly for the Bucks and the Falcons and the Saints. Nah. I'm not a believer right now in the Saints.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna. I don't believe in that team at all. So to me, I mean, maybe they can prove me wrong. So I said the same thing about the Bucks last year, but to me, it's between the Bucks and the Falcons, and I'm going with the Falcons. I do think it's going to be tough though. Oh, that was a move he just put on Rob Dillon here. But yeah, I'm going with the Falcons.
So let me ask you this:
hmm
which out of the four quarterbacks, who is the one that you have the most confidence in?
mm. After last year, it's really it's kind of it's close between Kirk and Baker, but what after I seen last year. and 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 me picking the Falcons is no knock to the Bucks, but after I seen last year, I probably have more faith in Baker. Um, I love what I saw from Baker last year. I love the poise he had. Yes, he had his moments, but I think we're seeing a mature Baker. We're
Mhm.
seeing a Baker that neither. That's funny. That's funny.
Hmm.
But I would go Baker simply because he was healthy last year. Kirk, I feel like he we haven't seen him really in a winning situation. It feels like in a while. That Vikings team hasn't been the same, since they lost a couple of guys. But yeah, I go Baker simply off. I saw him win a playoff game last year against my team, and I saw him be very competitive against the Lions and had opportunity to win that game. And I saw him not back down from the moment. I saw him not afraid to take a challenge. I saw him be mature, and we didn't see those things in Cleveland. We didn't see those things in Carolina. We're seeing them now. And that's why he got the break he deserved. And that is not a foul on Rob Dillingham. You got to be kidding me. NCAA. But yeah, man. So do you trust Baker more?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a. I'm not. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry. I can't put my confidence in him. He's got too much of a track record of not coming through in big spots for me to be able to trust him. And then the other part with Baker, man, is the fact that he's been through so much,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he's basically resurrected his career. Like at this
Absolutely.
point, it's all gravy for him. He's flying free now. He's got
Because
another big contract.
at one point, people say he's about to be a career backup, and now look at him.
Exactly, exactly. So now
Got paid.
exactly his career has been reborn. He's got a
Mm-hmm.
fresh start. He's got a new chapter. He's somewhere that he feels wanted. That he's feeling valued. So all those things just make his confidence just go through the roof. So those are other things why I definitely I have most confidence in Baker.
All right, man. So we agreeing on something. No more agreeing with us. But any last thoughts before we wrap it up, man? I know we getting out here a little early, but
Yeah,
Monday we gonna have some heat for y'all. Trust and
yeah, and
believe.
for
This is a big
sure.
weekend for sports. Fights coming up in a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
right mid
and it's something
April.
happening next week too. The Rolly fight.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Of course, we'll do some more NCAA tournament. We'll
hmm
react. We got a upset brewing right now with Kentucky and Oakland, and
yes, we
so
do.
anytime this happens with Big Blue Nation, they already calling for Cal's head. So if they
Yeah,
lose this game, they're really gonna be calling for Cal's head.
yeah. Even
So yeah,
though.
we gotta stay tuned on that. And then yeah, man, we'll react like I told you guys. We'll have the game on the
hmm
network 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody tune in live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitter. Um, Tune in. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a good night, and I'm really excited about it.
Before we leave, before we wrap it up, one question: y'all facing the Nuggets tonight? Do you care about this? Do you think how you think this game
Oh,
going?
this is gravy because I already said we was gonna lose to Golden State, so we good. We good.
Oh
We good.
man.
But that Mile High is different. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like, man, I actually had a chance to go out there and visit for the first time last March.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say it's different, that climate is different. So when they talk about that Mile High, like
Oh yeah, it's no
I can
joke.
see it. Yeah. So you never know. And we're kind of banked up too. So I would
You want to
love
be
it,
mad if
yeah,
y'all
but
took
I
the
don't
L?
expect it.
Okay.
I would love to see it, but I don't expect us to win tonight.
Okay. Well, looks like I ain't putting on no parlay for that ticket for that game.
What you got?
But
What you got for the people parlay wise, Chris?
let me see. I got anything. I'll say this. That last game, right? I don't have nothing for the Nuggets one, but his last game. If y'all ready, let me pull it up for you. I got DeJounte Murray 8 assists, Devin Booker 6 assists, Grayson Allen 3 threes, and Bogdanovich 3 threes. I'll make sure I post it on my Twitter. Tap in. I have in the comments as well. But y'all have a great day. Kenny, it's always a pleasure, and we'll see y'all Monday.
And the keys, tempo, hey time, let's go.
We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goal posts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any Kenny could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah, they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real, that's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.